Now, recently, Republicans in the House Judiciary Committee launched an inquiry questioning whether the Department of Justice is now a weapon aimed at opponents of the Biden administration. They also say whistleblowers report that the FBI has redirected resources from investigating child pornography cases to pursue political opponents. Is the FBI focused on those who protect children, enabling those who prey on children? Joining me now to discuss this is Donna Rice Hughes, CEO and president of Enough is Enough. Donna, welcome to Washington Watch.
Thank you so much for having me. Great to be with you.
We're glad to have you. Let's get right into it. Whistleblowers allegedly from inside the FBI claiming the resources being directed away from child predator cases to politically motivated cases. What else can you tell us?
Well, that's what we know from the whistleblower. Not only that, but specifically redirected to focus on January 6th events, number one. Number two, we also do know that there has been a policy shift for state, local law enforcement and attorneys general to focus on child sexual abuse material, which is the new name for child pornography, and prosecuting those cases. Now, let me just give you an overview of how big this is. When A.G. Barr was AG, he said that at that point, pre-COVID, that they could not even prosecute their way out of the amount of child sex abuse material that they were getting. Now, since COVID, those cases have skyrocketed. And even last year, they've gone up to 85 million videos and images of children as young as infants and toddlers being sexually abused and violated. This is what the landscape of child sex abuse material, formerly known as child pornography, looks like. For the Department of Justice to allocate resources that we don't even have enough to focus on this elsewhere to anything is absolutely, it's maddening, it's sad, and it's
Donna,
wrong.
Yeah, I think everybody would agree with that there should be no higher priority. There may also be other high priorities, but there should not be within the Department of Justice a higher priority than catching people who are predators of children. What's the basis of this concern that the Department of Justice is in fact deprioritizing those cases?
We don't know why they're doing this, to be perfectly honest. And let me just give you another data point. We also know that our last presidential administration, they have prioritized human trafficking and specifically sex trafficking. Now we have learned from DOJ insiders that the focus is going to be now more on labor trafficking, which is also a big problem, and less of a focus on sex trafficking. So there's a lot going on. And then you add to this the fact that there's an entire department inside DOJ called the Child Exploitation and Obscenity section. That section is supposed to be devoted to what we're talking about right now: child predation, child exploitation, child pornography, and also obscenity. Well, obscenity is hardcore material, and this kind of content is not protected under the First Amendment, yet these laws have not been prosecuted since George W. Bush was president. So their priorities are completely wrong. They need to get back to the government's compelling interest to protect the innocence and dignity of our children and enforce the entire rule of law. It makes no sense whatsoever. They're not doing their job.
Of course, the Department of Justice is a big agency, and they're going to multitask regardless, and they can't just do one kind of criminal investigation. But how are we seeing the pieces moving within the department? Are we relying on the whistleblowers themselves? Is there other evidence? Have we seen the budget where they have cut investigations of sex predators?
Well, I have not seen that budget currently, but I can tell you that Congress, even for the past 2 years and the appropriations budget, they have actually asked DOJ to begin prosecuting obscenity cases. And we know for a fact that they're not doing that because that was not anywhere in DOJ's budget or priorities.
Now, when we have these whistleblowers, is there a formal process that someone has to respond to investigate the concerns?
To be perfectly honest, I'm not familiar with the whistleblower rules and that type of thing. I only learned about this, quite frankly, the whistleblower in this particular case that we talked about at the top of my remarks, through a report that came through Fox News. But we have known that this has not been the kind of priority. In fact, what we've been asking for is for more money, more resources to put more law enforcement on child exploitation and child pornography cases. And then to learn that it looks like there has been a policy shift away from this is astonishing.
And that certainly is something that I know is shared by everyone who's watching and listening today. Donna, what can the public be doing? Those who share your concern, what should people be doing to get the attention of our lawmakers and our agencies to prioritize the right things?
Well, great. Thank you. Great question. We actually have a petition. Petitions make a lot of noise. Let your voice be heard. You can go to enough.org and sign the petition to DOJ to prioritize the prosecution of all these cases. And I think also at FRC, you also have a link to that petition. We have about 18,000 signers so far. I would love to get that way up, and we could use your help to do that. Please share it. Let people know about it, because they do listen to your voices, and we've got to be loud on this, and we've got to shout it from the rooftops.
That's exactly right. Donna Rice Hughes, we are out of time. Thanks for being with us so much.